Nightline, is this the wonder pill that will cure 4 out of 5 sick hearts?
There's lots of challenges and barriers still to overcome, but I think it's a very exciting time.
The North Island Snow Show finally opens for business. DIY opera, build it and they will sing. And cheeking out the week in sport.
Still in there is Yepes! Slammed hard into the wall. Actually came around and caught the back of Bartone's race car. That's some serious damage right there.
This is Nightline with Sarah Bradley.
Kia ora, good evening. British researchers say a single pill combining common drugs and vitamins could prevent at least 80% of heart attacks and strokes. The research published in the latest British medical journal proposes the development of a polypill. The journal's editorial argues that it could have a greater impact on the prevention of disease in the Western world than any other known intervention. And New Zealand scientists have played a major role in researching the pill.
Alexander Love is recovering after a massive heart attack and triple bypass. He's taking 5 pills a day. One would be easier.
And if you're only taking one, well, you're only carrying one about. At the present moment, you're carrying 5 different packets.
The one pill, or polypill, would contain aspirin, folic acid, and drugs to lower blood pressure and cholesterol.
People are used to looking at the benefits separately, but taken all together, it's about a 3/4 reduction in heart disease and stroke.
The British Medical Journal is heralding the pill as perhaps the most important medical development in 50 years. A Green Lane cardiologist believes convenience will be the pill's greatest advantage.
It's a pretty big thing to expect somebody to take a medication for many years, and if you expect them to take 3 or 4 medications, that's even a bigger thing. So anything that makes it simpler and is an advantage.
For Alexander Love, a simple benefit is not having to return to the chemist with 5 prescriptions. Doctors warn the pill shouldn't be treated as a magic bullet. That exercise, good diet and not smoking will always be important in avoiding heart disease. The pill still needs to be tested for side effects and won't be available for a few years. Kim Hurring, 3 News.
Up until Wednesday night, the sex industry was the secret industry. But now with the historic decriminalising vote, the oldest profession is about to come under the scrutiny of not just the police, but government departments like OSH, ACC and the courts, not to mention the tax man.
Registering an industry that's always been on the wild side is the task of the courts department. Brothel keeping's legal from Monday, but the court says it'll take 6 months before it can process newcomers. One of the few people within the industry who isn't happy is veteran Auckland parlour owner Brian LeGros.
It's like deregulating the taxis. I mean, you go and jump into a cab these days and the guy doesn't even speak English.
LeGros says he needs more staff and has told Wins he wants to put a prostitutes wanted sign on their jobs board. Local councils have the job of deciding where brothels can be set up. They're concerned about the costs involved.
I think the growth is going to come from the smaller end of the market, and that's what worries me. I think we're quite exposed to that risk from possibly the amateur wanting to turn pro.
Prostitutes and their employers will have to pay ACC. Cover's unlikely for those who become pregnant at work, but may be available if they catch a sexually transmitted disease. They'll also have to pay tax, and according to the Consumers Institute, could face sanctions under the Consumer Guarantees Act if customers aren't happy.
They could take a case to the Disputes Tribunal if they wished. I suggest that there won't be very many people who are prepared to do that.
But consumers backed away from its usual close scrutiny.
I can assure the citizens of New Zealand that we will not be testing the services offered by prostitutes.
Among the anomalies thrown up by the bill, one of the strangest has to be that it's now perfectly legal to have sex with a prostitute in a brothel. But if you want a cigarette afterwards, you have to step outside. Jeff Hampton, 3 News.
A Christchurch man has been found not guilty of attempting to murder his estranged wife and of murdering her new partner. But Richard Jarman was found guilty of the manslaughter of Garth Caldwell and of causing grievous bodily harm with intent to Gail Jarman, who had to have her arm amputated. Reparation money rejected by the family of a 4-year-old killed in a car accident has been refused again, this time by the girl's kindergarten. Georgia McCartan Graham died after an unlicensed Chinese student drove his car into a petrol station near Hamilton. Today, Georgia's family said they consider the $40,000 offer from Ding Yan Zhao as blood money, and they're delighted the kindy has declined to accept.
Blood money, it's blatant. It's been used to take a year off the offender's sentence. So it's tainted.
The family has issued a 30-page report on how they believe they've been failed by the courts, the police and the justice system as a whole. The alleged mastermind of bombings in the Saudi Arabian capital Riyadh is in custody. 34 people were killed in the attacks on foreigners' housing compounds last month. It's reported that Ali Abdul Rahman al-Ghamdi surrendered to Saudi authorities. Al-Ghamdi is said to be a senior al-Qaeda operative based in Saudi Arabia. Saddam Hussein's eternally optimistic information minister has reappeared in Baghdad after being interrogated by US forces. Looking older and thinner, Mohammed al-Saif did not have quite as much to say as when he was the mouth of the Saddam regime. The Americans have released him, saying he has no credible information to offer.
We will slaughter them all. Those invaders, their tombs will be here in Iraq.
As for the future, he has very few worries. A number of Arab television stations throughout the Middle East want to recruit him as a publicity agent. Well, for weeks now, North Island skiers have been casting an envious look at the snow-covered ski fields in the south, and all the while probably checking out the prices of airfares as a backup plan. But now the wait's over. The snow-challenged slopes of the north are no more. Both sides of Mount Ruapehu are open for business.
It's been a frustrating stop-start beginning to the North Island ski season, but at long last, action-hungry boarders and skiers have something to smile about.
Been waiting for 4 weeks now, like getting bored, and now I'm really excited, yeah.
We've had this day planned for a while, so it was just lucky that it was opening today.
Pretty damn icy, but it's very nice. It's good to be out. It's very good to be out.
Today, Tudor's Upper Mountain opened for the first time, and about 800 people, mostly locals, enjoyed the high flyer run, although there was the odd collision. At Whakapapa, 25 snow guns have been operating almost continuously since 5 p.m. on Wednesday to get the field ready. Pumping out perfect powder doesn't come cheap. Each gun costs a staggering $45,000.
And this is the result. In 48 hours, the system would have used 10 million litres of water, creating 35,000 cubic metres of the white stuff.
Over at the higher altitude field Tudor, it's a different story. They haven't been as reliant on snowmaking, using only 7 of the guns. Mount Ruapehu staff have been waiting a long time for the full system to be operational. It was meant to be up and running last year, but those plans fell apart.
It snowed a lot, and then rained a lot, and then blew a lot. So we didn't quite get the project finished on time and as we wanted. But thankfully, we've had really good weather over the summer, and everything's now in place, and it's working really well.
Whakapapa Learner Area Happy Valley opens tomorrow on what will be the first day both sides of Mount Ruapehu are open. A welcome chance to skiers and boarders whose skills have become a little rusty. Tania Page, 3 News.
Well, still to come on Nightline, the builder of Seville.
And coming up later in sport, tragedy at the Confederations Cup in France. Also rugby league, the Broncos against the Roosters. We have tennis as Wimbledon police on alert for a stalker. Plus Nightline's plays of the week.
Giving plenty of cheek.
You're back with Nightline. The Marlborough District Council is preparing to go to the Privy Council. It'll take the action if Māori gain control of the foreshore and seabed in the Marlborough Sounds.
The Marlborough Sounds, with its lucrative mussel farms, is the battleground in deciding if Māori can claim ownership of the foreshore and seabed. What has set the issue alight is an appeal court ruling, which says the foreshore and seabed are like land, where exclusive ownership can be granted to Māori if they prove a customary right. It's prompted the local council to say it's prepared to go to the highest court possible, the Privy Council in England, to stop just that.
I don't think we've got we hadn't any other choice.
This is probably the most serious issue that's facing our country today, and it's got to be resolved.
The Māori Labour MPs and Māoridom are furious with their own government for wanting to bolt the door on foreshore and seabed ownership prospects for Māori. There's been speculation the government may soften its stance and not completely bar Māori from seabed ownership based on customary right. In Marlborough, locals are happy for their council to fight that.
If it means for local councils, be it here in Marlborough or it might happen somewhere else in the country, having to go to that extent, well, good on them.
I think that it's a natural resource and a renewable resource, and I don't think that the Maori should have a right to decide that it should be theirs.
The decision by the council puts the government between the seabed and a rocky foreshore. If it blocks Māori from customary ownership, it'll face anger and legal action. If it grants it, the Marlborough District Council is off to court. Ingrid Hipkiss, 3 News.
The Far North District Council may soon be dumping its rubbish on Auckland's North Shore. The council's own landfill at Ahipara will be full by the end of next year, so it's considering trucking its rubbish more than 300 kilometres south to the Red Vale tip near Albany. The council has had to discard 20 local sites because they're not considered environmentally suitable. Some residents say the council should put more effort into recycling, but the council says that recycling is a far too expensive option. Maori Affairs Minister Parekura Horomia has come under more pressure than any other minister in recent weeks. After a few disasters, he was sent off for media training. Polish him up, thought Helen Clark. Has it worked? Have a look.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Parekura Horomia has undergone media training. He's got cocky, got confident, got a smile on his face.
No such decision was made.
It's frustrated the opposition, desperately searching for slip-ups.
He sits now.
No, I want to
well,
be...
the member leaves.
Okay, well, I will
member
leave,
leaves.
because it's no
Can't
point
challenge
here...
the Speaker's ruling. Please leave.
It's no point here asking
Order.
questions,
I'll
sir.
name the member if he says another word. Please leave.
Last week, Helen Clark called in her media trainer, Brian Edwards, and put him to work on Horomia. It clearly transformed her. Could it transform him? It started with a trim, a haircut that is. He got a new tie, and he was taught not to get tongue-tied. Remember what it was like 2 weeks ago?
It is important to understand that accuracy is accurate.
And remember this one. When did he know about the problems within Te Mangai Pāho?
Shortly after, Mr. Speaker.
Surely after what?
Well, now it's like this. Spot the aggression, confidence and finger-pointing.
Customary rights are a public issue, and that member should learn about that. I would ask that member, who does he believe owns it?
Horomia says he's more polished. End of story. And that's a new phrase too.
End of story. This is no exception. End of story.
He even turned poacher this week, fried the opposition. And that sure beats having egg on your own face.
I want to concede this is one of those occasions where I've been caught out by this sharp minister. Mr. Edwards has earned his dollar today.
A rare compliment from his enemies. No wonder he's winking at them. Duncan Garner, 3 News.
Well, usually when one thinks about opera, one conjures up images of tantruming divas, glamorous locales and elite audiences. But these people clearly haven't met the company touring the Barber of Seville around the country, where divas and divos alike have to build sets as well as sing for their supper.
Okay, let's get the show on the road. Let's go.
Loading onto the bus on a brisk Auckland morning, the NBR Opera Company is off to Tauranga to perform the Barber of Seville. It's the first time in 20 years a professional opera company has toured the country, and a tight budget means they're expected to do more than sing. When Terry Barry's not playing Ambrogio, he builds the sets and drives the bus.
I think it actually helps in many ways, because it does make for a team spirit.
Even the conductor mucks in.
It's a wonderful thing about the tour. I mean, everybody gets in and, you know, you're feeling shattered at the end of the performance and but the set's got to come down.
The singers not only sing and perform, but they also help erect the set, they help hang the lights, they help iron the costumes, sort the props out, load the truck. And so in everyone having to kind of share tasks, include drive the bus and cook the meals and whatever, we've ended up with a fantastic team of people who all kind of know and respect each other.
And it doesn't matter if you are the lead in the show or in the ensemble. The cast says there's no time for airs.
No one wants to put up with all of the diva and divo stuff anymore. It's not
it's not a part of modern life and no one cares about it anymore. So we all try to be as normal as possible and we have a great time doing so.
Their camaraderie is contagious.
The ensemble group usually do a lot of singing on board the bus. We try not to sing the principals because we're basically singing nearly almost, well, I'm singing almost every night, so I try not to do.
Bollocks, he always does 10 green bottles.
But protecting their voices has to be a priority, made harder with the strain of travel and the extra work of moving and building the set at a new location every few days.
The role of presenter, there's a lot of light, high coloratura, and you just have to be careful to, you have to have the voice and top nick to be able to do it.
The NBR Opera chose the comic opera The Barber of Seville because the company feels it will have nationwide appeal.
Because it's normally positioned among people from the elite, and it's just not true. And I think this tour will be huge in breaking down those sorts of barriers.
So after hours in the tour bus and hours more putting all the real barriers in place, there's just one small role left for the crew. Well, the NBR Opera have one more performance at the Bay Court Theatre in Tauranga, and then it's down to Nelson and Greymouth for the final 4 performances next week.
And coming up next in sport, we feature the plays of the week, rugby league and soccer.
Watch Foey at the centre of your picture.
This tragedy as a 28-year-old collapses and dies at the Confederations Cup. Welcome back to Nightline. In sport, Cameroon still expected to play in the Confederations Cup final against France on Monday, despite today's tragedy in Lyon. Midfielder Marc-Vivien Foé died after collapsing during Cameroon's 1-0 semi-finals win over Colombia. Now, medical staff tried to resuscitate Foé for 45 minutes, but were unable to restart his heart.
The moment when players and officials realised something was serious.
And the referee immediately wants the medical staff brought on. This looks really, really worrying. Marc-Vivien Foé just collapsed.
Initially, it was thought Foé was suffering from heat exhaustion.
Watch Foé at the centre of your picture. And he was out cold.
Medical staff unsuccessfully tried to wake Foé and then casually carried him from the field.
And now they've dropped poor old Marc-Vivien Foé. One of the stretcher bearers stumbled, and he's still out cold, isn't he?
Foé's teammates went on to clinch a spot in the Confederations Cup final with a 1-0 win over Colombia. But celebration turned to despair when word came through that Foé had died. Doctors had tried to resuscitate him for 45 minutes to no avail. There was a poignant moment in the other semi when France beat Turkey 3-2.
And they all point to the heavens, and I think that is in salute and in memory of Marc-Vivien Foé.
Foé, seen here in 2001 with West Ham teammate Paolo Di Canio, was well known in France and Britain after spells with Lyon and Manchester City, as well as the Hammers. Until the autopsy's made public, it's unclear exactly what caused Foé's collapse. But a FIFA spokesman announced that Foé's heart had stopped after he was carried from the pitch. Marc-Vivien Foé was only 28.
Well, on a brighter note, Rugby League, and after State of Origin 2 on Wednesday, no less than 14 players are backing up in tonight's NRL clash between the championship leaders, the Brisbane Broncos, and the defending premiers, the Sydney City Roosters. And Freddie Fittler's Roosters drew first blood.
Carroll tackle 5 and then wing, and now Fittler leaves the 10 behind him. Now he puts the chip kick in the air. They go up in a cello. He has scored.
Just before the break, though, some Broncos inspiration from the skipper.
It's gone off the hand of Walker.
Yeah, he's got it.
8-4 to the Roosters at half-time, and a reminder on Sunday the Warriors are in South Sydney for their game against the Rabbitohs. Well, it's time again for the good, the bad, the sore and the sorry. Yes, it's Nightline's Plays of the Week.
We start the Plays of the Week with Webby, who got a Canberra wedgie. Grant Webb giving plenty of cheek. And number 9, Jimmy Anderson's hat-trick for the Palms against Pakistan.
Close, that's out. Giving him out first ball. Straight away. Here we go. And he's got him! Hat-trick to Anderson!
And number 8,
You picked a fine time to leave me.
NASCAR and more motor mayhem in Sonoma, California.
3 wide. That can't work. Won't work. It did work.
Silhouette.
There you see Dave Blaney and Bob. Look at them stacking up behind them.
Like I said, big and ugly.
Synchronized spinning.
And number 7, our Rally of the Week, Tim Henman and the Czech Republic's Thomas Zib. And number 6, Colombian Mario Yepes' strike against the All Whites.
There is Yepes. Oh, fabulous goal, Mario Yepes. He struck the bar a couple of minutes ago, but this is a real sniper's goal.
And number 5, our Try of the Week. Yes, the Poms actually found another way besides Johnny Wilkinson's boot to beat the world champion Wallabies.
Great work by Wilkinson. Try coming up. Tyndall.
And number 4, our Tanty of the Week. A Wimbledon spectator calls the ball, but instead of replaying the point, the chair umpire calls the ball good. Greg Rosetsky goes bad.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that's not the rule. You say warning, replay the point. Ridiculous. So some the crowd changed the whole match, and then you allow it to happen. Well done. Well done, well done.
I lost it a little bit on that call. I apologize for my language. It was not necessary, I would say.
And number 3, our Hit of the Week. Take your pick. Jerry Collins on Colin Chavez.
Just absolutely demolishes him. I thought he was going to break his leg the way he just flipped things back over his body. Look at this.
Or Josh Lucy on Matt Rogers.
Great work. Oh, sensational.
Rogers cut in through there. Rogers actually got up, while Chavez was seen to by Nurse Turner.
And getting Colin Chavez on his side and getting them.
And number 2, American drag racing, Gary Ward in this week's Wildest Ride.
Gary Ward's wing broke very early, but that thing slammed hard into the wall. Actually came around and caught the back of Bartone's race car. That's some serious damage right there.
And our number 1 play of the week, we return to the Confederations Cup, the All Whites, and Viva la France.
Finish this one. The back heel is brilliant. The goal is fantastic from Julie, but what a sumptuous goal.
Yes, great strike. Now, a reminder, 3 Sport will have full coverage of the All Blacks test against France in Christchurch tomorrow night. Our coverage starts at 8:30. And Sarah, that's sport.
Thanks very much, Dobbo. After the break, Saturday's soggy forecast. Welcome back. Well, there's nothing flash about tomorrow's forecast. There'll be variations of rain or high cloud in both islands. The heaviest rain will be over the ranges of Nelson and Westland. It'll be a good day for those inside jobs or just a long lie-in. Well, that's all from the Nightline team for another week. Have a great weekend. I'm Sarah Bradley.
And I'm Howard Dobson.
Good night.
Good night.